Hello friends, my name is Old Man Cloud. I upload daily Bazaar gameplay videos to my YouTube channel. Let's jump into a run, playing as Pig this time, changing things up a little bit. Also, if all goes according to plan, this will be my first run that I'm uploading after the latest patch. And I feel like some Pig items got some relatively interesting changes in the patch. And my read of the meta is that Pig could be quite strong. So let's see how that shapes out and whether that ends up being true or not. Early regen is always strong here, and matchboxes are good get as well.
For your size.
Finally got to gold rank, so climbing up slowly but surely. Got there by almost solely playing, in fact I think solely playing Vanessa. Now just played a couple of Pig runs. So the changes for the most part I think were quite good. The bugs got a bit of a nerf for Dooley, but I feel like they're still going to be quite strong. It remains to be seen how prevalent they are on the ladder now that they're a little bit more difficult to force. Aquatics Vanessa got quite a significant buff with a lot of the items, which I think was needed. However, the nerf to Shipwreck was pretty significant and will impact the extent to which that particular build can go into the late game, I think. Weapons Vanessa was barely touched at all, so I feel like Weapons Vanessa is still going to be very strong, and that's part of the reasoning why I think Pig might be in a pretty decent place in the meta at the moment, just because you can build it quite defensively, so it matches up really well against Weapons Vanessa.
A customer.
Spiky Shield opens up a lot of possibilities for Pig, but it's probably a bit too greedy to take at this stage. And then I think Ganjo's a great early item, but has some synergy with Yo-Yo. Probably doesn't quite fit on the board at the moment. Let's roll. And sure, let's play a tiny bit of defense at least. Not a great start. The problem with Pig is that runs tend to be a lot longer. Certainly when I was playing Pig in the previous meta, I was routinely getting runs over like 70-80 minutes per run, which is probably a bit too long to be putting on the channel. But we'll see how we go. Who knows how things play out. And certainly Square Pig is in an extremely strong place at the moment. I think I've had 10 wins with Square Pig in the last couple of days in this meta, whilst not recording. So Square Pig is certainly in a very good place if you can get it to the point where it's more aggressive than your typical aggro Vanessa, which is definitely possible, particularly in the mid game. And it has the benefit of being able to more easily pick up items like Caltrops that are really effective counters to the meta. And it has the advantage of Adaladdle being a great recipient of enchants. Money Tree is one of the items that's been changed in a really interesting way, so it'd be cool to get a Money Tree build off the ground. Not a whole lot going in this run at the moment, but it's early days still. Going to take some frontal shielding. Scarf also got a really interesting... we kind of want these both, but let's have a look at medium. Scarf also got a really interesting buff. It probably didn't need it, to be honest. I'm not sure what the logic there was. But Scarf... Alright, so we're leaning into a... If we can afford these. It's an expensive Atlatl. I think I probably want to pick it up though.
You're really gonna enjoy that.
The Scarf now scales even faster, and it was already a pretty efficient scaler. Would like to be able to afford the dog, which means I think we're selling these.
I used to offer a free ride home.
Going into kind of a scuffed medium, scuffed Square Pig. Can we afford ores, which fit in the build quite well? We can. We sell, and sell.
Oh, delivery's free.
So this is kind of the type of build we wanted to have together on day one, really. I'm not convinced at all that we beat Covetous, although we do have scaling from Lumbors, which are really nice. Would love to pick up Shadow Cloak. Let's see how we go. I think this could be a little too close for comfort, but we're really relying on the scaling from Lumbors here. So Money Tree now reduces cooldown as its value increases, which can get incredibly strong. It's similar to Billboard, and Billboard's a very strong shield item, and I anticipate that Money Tree will be a very, very strong heal item, especially with synergy with items like the luxury tents that will give it multicast. So potential to scale into the late game with Money Tree now, which you couldn't have said beforehand. Let's have a look at weapons here.
My battle days are over.
So yeah, we're getting kind of the crux of a square pig together, but it's all happening a bit late. Jabalian Longbow is a great part of the build early, but I don't think I'm going to be able to afford it. So instead, let's take Regal Blade, which has some synergy with Dog. And then let's look at scaling these two together, both at bronze, so they scale very slow. And then with no money, let's just go Fins.
Food is life. Our bodies are just containers for it.
So we've got off to a pretty rough start here. We'd love to see our scalers at silver. So Scarf was already a potential build around going late, albeit it goes off very strong late, but if you can put an aggressive chant on a scaled Scarf, it can go pretty crazy. And it has fantastic synergy with Spike Shield because their timing lines up really well. So I think now in particular with, we're going to get rolled here, now in particular with how quickly Scarf can scale, there's the real potential to make a Scarf build work, which I'd like to do as well. Losing early with Pig is no huge surprise, but the build obviously isn't in a great place.
Now that's quality.
Like both our scalers at silver ideally.
You gotta know what you're fighting for.
Yeah, small items are good for our Dog. Getting it all off the ground a bit late here. A square pig, you really want to be winning early if at all possible, because you're going to start to come up against nastier pigs late game.
How about this weather where... Oh,
some good stuff here. Is it worth picking this up? It's a pretty early globe. Let's pick it up. And building some health opens up more possibilities. Don't know whether we take the hover bike. We have no defensiveness whatsoever. I think they may burst us down before we burst them down. So let's go after Flame Dancer and consider playing Cutlass if we get it. So I would love to try a Scarf build with the new scaling. I'd love to try a Money Tree. And there's also just the old stalwarts of the pig build. My read of the pig meta at the moment is that Ice Club seems to be the meta build, particularly if you can get an early fixer-upper, upgrade it into Diamond and then transform it. We really need some weapon skills to make this pop, but scaling a Silver Dog certainly could be worse. The Regal Blade is doing nothing for us and is on the chopping block. Econ's in a pretty good place now, particularly with those two items, or with the ATM at any rate. So yeah, you kind of, especially with the slow start we had and kind of the very early pivot from small items to square pig, you kind of expect to get rolled in the early game, which is what's happening, especially against an 1800 health pig. This guy's going to out-heal us. This is another item that got... Oh, this is the luxury... I cannot pronounce this. Kiowas? This item got a very significant buff. So this is now a very effective late game item, I would say, with how quickly this scales, if you can get it early. Way too much healing from this pig. I think the ideal way to get a 10 piece as a pig is to start super defensive like this pig is doing, and I think you can get a lot of wins just from a really defensive start from out healing weapons builds at the moment. Start really defensive and then have some type of engine cooking along in the background like a fixer-upper or a Money Tree or some scaler, and then pivot into that in the mid-game, which is kind of how Pig used to be played, but that to me still seems like the best way of playing it. Dog upgrade is fine.
I want you to be happy.
Not interested in this. Let's roll. Some good gets here. This is good for dog and blade, although we don't care about blade too much. And then we'd love to be able to afford the safe for the spare change. I think we get rid of Regal Blade, which just nothing is going on.
Free ride home.
And we try to pick up another item with that money. Of course, we're really looking for Crook.
Elder could see me now.
And we're really looking for weapon skills. That's one, we'll take that. Would have preferred strength, but that's not bad.
Just getting you ready for them.
And then let's have a go with a weapon. Crook one time. Oh, I saw the medium. So our board is not filled out in the slightest. Pretty sure we can take on Retiree. He's a scaler, but I'm pretty sure we can take him on. We've got a little bit of scaling ourselves. And never too late to bring a pig run back from the brink. The play is to find Crook, get Quadrilateral going very fast, and then stick our first enchant on Quadrilateral. I think that's how you could save this run, but we'll see how we go. Way too late for Lang John to be of any use. At least we win there. It wasn't a given by any means. The disadvantage of Square Pig, of course, is that it's solely reliant on getting Crook, which we won't be getting from these vendors or these vendors. Fixer Upper is probably a little too late. Well, it's definitely a little too late with the start we've had. Piggy Bank has the potential to be a good item with dogs, so we'll hold on to it for a little bit. This is not a good build, but we are up against a pig who is beating a lot of AI, but not beating any human fights. Potentially a shielder that's run into poison? No. Lemonade Stand Money Tree. Okay, so they're going for a very late game. They're going to be an absolute menace late game. This is pretty much a meta build, but we should be able to take them out here. So Money Tree now, this item's cooldown is reduced by 1% for every value it has. So it can get all the way down to that super fast 1 second firing time. And then you can put a VIP card next to it and it just scales in value insanely. And then you can get other items that feed off its value. Making for a very, very powerful late game engine. So cool to see items that were previously useless come into the meta a little bit, as long as it's not too oppressive.
The joy of more.
And at least we're seeing fewer bugs on the ladder now.
Let's both.
Looking for strength.
Maybe someday we'll teach each other.
Nothing here. Better than nothing, I suppose.
I'm
Marginally.
proud of you.
This could be good. That's fantastic. And that's fantastic. These are both fantastic. I think given the difficulty Pig can find getting haste, Rush is a great start. And then I think let's take Duelist for the hopes of getting your skill.
I have a diploma.
Really need to find a Crook ASAP. How did we get that? Oh, we get an overheal from Bushel. That's interesting. Overheal is incredibly strong if we can find a way of proccing it that doesn't give up our the entire basis of our build. So not really looking for non-weapon items. I think I'll just take a small item. Loop's a great find. That opens up some more econ options. Let's take a look at medium and large. We can sell out. Belt we definitely want to be picking up, and safe we probably want to be picking up. So I think it's time to sell out of Piggy Bank. We don't have 8 slots, we have 7. I prefer not to. So what are we? We're probably getting rid of Lang John for Belt. Keep Bushel just for the chance of proccing overheal, I think. Well, Lang John's kind of scaling a bit. Maybe we get rid of Bushel. Then get rid of Pig, then sell all these for a tiny profit with Loop. And buffing our dog. Grab safe.
GSMM manual page 320.
Also a buff from selling them to Barky Boy, which is a good bit of synergy. And now we pick up Belt, which is a great pick. So that opens up some more options for us. Belt is always a good inclusion in square pig. Adds a bit of survivability as well. And I think we re-roll even. Oars upgrade is fine. Doesn't have a long-term future, I don't think. Can make an argument for picking up Boomerang just for monster fights, but I think I'll save the money for the time being. So you upgraded a fair bit today. I'm still behind where I'd like to be at this stage, and I think we still, even with the additional health, we probably have a rough time against Aggro Vanessa, which this is. Weird Aggro Vanessa though. Maybe we might be okay here. They have no defense, so yeah, we're going to be fine. Yeah, interesting. I don't think their build is quite coherent. Langjeon's super slow, meaning it doesn't go well with Trebuchet or Cannonade. Cannonade being used where there's only a few weapons. Trebuchet where there's only a few weapons. But anyway, who am I to criticise? They may have just been forced into playing that way with the shops they got. Small arms is good for dog, but we won't find anything to permanently use. With loop and the amount of econ we have, this is a good vendor though. We'll buy all of these things, we sell them back for 3. And let's hold on to see... Okay, so we need to clear up 5 spots now. I was going to say hold on to see if we can upgrade dog, but we need to free up 5 spots like so. For Candy Collector, which is also has some nice synergy with Loop. We'll hold on to these though, seeing pending a potential upgrade to dog, although it's pretty unlikely. But we don't need the upgrades for this fight. Shame we got Langjeon at bronze and haven't had a chance to upgrade, because it actually could be kind of fitting into this run. My understanding of Square Pig is that you really want to have one heavy hitting weapon, you want to have one very fast weapon, which is almost always Atlatl. You want to have Crook, you want to have a Scaler, which is in our case dog, and you can make a case for Boars. Lumboar's doing a kind of similar job. And there's kind of some flex there if you want to work in Belt and a Lion's Cane, and you always want to be gearing towards Caltrops. The build is all about Caltrops in the late game. Caltrops and Enchant on Atlatl is how you go late. We really need a Crook though. That's an essential part of the build. Unfortunately not seeing Zookeeper, who has a Crook. I don't think we take Infernal even if we sell everything. I think we're still just a little too slow. So no point in selling everything quite yet. There's always a tendency to just clear out your inventory, isn't there? But in this case, it's worth resisting on the off chance we see a dog upgrade. So in our case, the flex positions now are really Boars, Lumboars and Langjeon can both go. I think dog's here for the long term now.
But not against me.
And hopefully Belt's here for the long term as well. Not looking for large, we'll clear up some room for chocolate. I mean, it was a nice thought, but we're clearly not going to upgrade dog before we have to sell all this. So dog's scaling quite nicely now. Let's have a look at medium, looking for the Crook. There it is, at gold as well, which is great to see. So I think we keep... Boars are just doing nothing. Langjeon's on the chopping block, but we'll keep it for the time being. Atlatl down to 2.3. You really need to get that down to 1 basically. So you usually do with a combination of skills and Diamond Crook. Regal Blade has definite synergy with Dog, but it's so late to pick it up and I don't think it's coming back now. We'll pick up Cash Register for a Dog synergy. Belt upgrade is great. Bit more survivability. And that's all from here. Great shop though.
Now that's given up.
Silver or lower. So you could upgrade Atlatl. I think it gives it 10 damage, which is something. You need to find this extra bit of damage to get it down to 1 second. But I think we're better off looking for skills. Even though pig skills are bad, basically any weapon skills other than that is good for us, and some are amazing. None of these are amazing, so we gambled and lost there. We'll take Frostfire on the off chance of picking up a burn enchant.
I'll send it to Orlin. But I'll keep you as long
Maybe
as
should have just taken the upgrade, the 10 damage to Atlatl, but well. So now we're really looking for Caltrops. Slotting in Caltrops to Langjon here would make all the difference. And we're also looking for we like some more skills, but our skill pool is really bad. Caltrops and Lion's Cane are probably the two biggest improvements here. Bronze Langjon is holding its own though, to some extent. Skills Vendor is really good for us. As is Sharpening Stone for Atlatl, but I think you've got to take a look here with some money. Would love to see a weapon skill, brother. I know they exist. Yeah, that'll do. 14 to all weapons. Down to 1.5 now, we're getting there. And I think we go Thug here just because Bonk would be so fantastic, as it always is. One of the most versatile skills in the game. I think that's the only item here we'd work into our build. But you can see the difference Atlatl makes here going so fast. And especially if you can put a good enchant on it. Haste is a really good enchant. I think it hastes 2 items even though it goes off so fast, so it pretty much perma-hastes your whole board including itself. Haste is fantastic, Slow is actually really good, and then the scaling enchants, oh we got Bonk which is fantastic. The scaling enchants scale well with its improved damage as well, so it's hard to whiff with an enchant on Atlatl. Is it too late for lifting? When you buy a weapon? No, I think we can still make lifting work. We've got decent amount of econ, and we've got some good econ items here, and we want to be buying small weapons for Dog anyway, so I think we can make it work. Can make a case for any of these. Langjon is just not sticking around, so I don't really want to spend the upgrade on Langjon. We're replacing this with Caltrops or Lion's Cane. I think we just take the spare change, bit of econ, buffs to Dog. Now we want Chocolate for Dog buffs, which means getting rid of Cash Register, which is never a long-term play anyway. We need the inventory space. So good buffing, good econ. I think I have a tendency to get too caught up in the value of buffing with free items. Just can't pass up the value. So I think now we make it more of a priority to go to vendors and try to find the items that we're missing to fill out our build, rather than going for the scaling. This is strong Vanessa, but I feel like with our increased survivability from Belt, we should be fine here. Atlatl just chipping away constantly, and then the big hits coming in from the left, which is exactly how Square Pig should be working. Still great in this meta. Square Pig has been part of the meta for the entire Bazaar, I believe. And it's I think one of Pig's few viable weapons builds, although Jabalian Drum seems to be viable. So I mean, I'm still even despite what I said, every fibre of my being is calling me to go Chocolate here. But we gotta find the missing items in our build. We gotta find Caltrops and or Lion's Cane. Should have gone the Chocolate. I knew it. No good buy sells either. Weapons vendor's what we want to see.
Buy my weapon. Use it well.
Sure, for 8, I'll treat myself. It's a cool looking cannon.
Go make some more stories. Then come back and
But I think it's too late for silver cash cannon even at Obsidian. And we've kind of got the big hitters on our board. That role is already filled. Got to go for cooldown, I think, although you never get the cooldown, do you? So I'm just going to go Burninator Bot. That's awful logic. But another reason to go Burninator Bot is Flamethrower can absolutely work in a Square Pig build. And it's super fun. So I think if we pick up Flamethrower, we'll be slotting that in for Langjon. One time? No. not what we're looking for.
It's all about motivation. You gotta know what
The
you're
increased
fighting.
the increased income also buffs our damage a little bit, so we'll take that. And let's have a look at gold. Looking for
Well, didn't think you had the
caltrops and lion's cane, which none of these are. Not improved. Have not improved a huge amount today, but I think with these options, we just take the Lang John upgrade, even though it doesn't have a long-term future, just because the other options were bad.
moving up in the world.
Funny how like even a bronze Lang John's got pretty scaled here. This finesse has got to 10 already, which is bad. If they picked up its Caseytron, the Caseytron, 420 is the suffix, so probably the Caseytron. It is a very aggressive Vanessa. This the volcanic vent's got a big buff as well, and that's now this item is now a complete menace. You really want to watch out for volcanic vents. It's gone from being pretty harmless to incredibly devastating. I think we're going to be a bit too slow here, with our whole board slowed. Caseytron 420 was temporarily at 420, but can't take her the rest of the way. That's fine. It's probably to be expected until we manage to pick up caltrops. You are going to lose to those very fast-firing builds. This is a cool node to see. We will be sticking you on Atlatl just because there's so few misses. That's fine. Could be better, could be worse. Health and shield includes belt. And in fact is relatively likely to include belt. That's all though. I think I still got to take a look. As I said, scaling can only get me so far. I need to pick up other items for which I need to go to vendors, which means sometimes you whiff. Can't just focus on endlessly getting value from the dog. Pretty sure I can beat Death Knight Reaper here, and no matter what we're getting to level 10 today, Scythe and Mortal Coil would both be tempting to fit on the build. You can see the poison is just devastating here. Makes a real difference. Oh no! I was going to say it would be nice to get there before the weapon goes off. I think we're still fine. That must have been so close. Okay, we just get there. Without the belt we lose that fight. So I'd love to see Scythe or one of your skills. That's a pretty good one. Your other skills would have been better, but can't complain about that. And now, having already enchanted Atlatl, this is where it would be great to have caltrops, but we don't. I think we just put burn on Dog. Dog is probably the most likely to stay. Yeah, I think that has to be right. Just hit a bit harder. Crook is staying, and Belt is most likely staying. So I think Dog was the best choice there. Caltrops one time. Never caltrops. Caltrops one time. Never caltrops.
Use it well. Make me proud.
But we get some buffs.
More stories. Then come back and tell me.
Dog's getting up there. 80 burn damage is pretty significant. Not guaranteed to get to the stage of the dog attacking, of course. More concerned about getting Atlatl up there. Lifting is now getting pretty late to buy lifting. Increase max health. It's fine, but not amazing. I think we can try to do better here. Yeah, plus 18 damage across the board is better. Should match up well against Squishy Mac, but could also be a regen merchant. And could be someone playing with the reagent synergy, which is very strong. Or the slow build with ridiculous... Oh no, they're not too bad actually. Although Hypnotic Drain is extremely annoying. But I still think we're probably a bit too aggressive here. Wish you hadn't frozen my dog, brother. I think because of that freeze we may well lose. I think if we got a freeze on anything but dog there, I think we were fine. So 1 out of 4, that's a bit stiff. I feel like this build is better than 4 wins, but we got off to such a slow start. Even though we've got nothing great, you got to take the enchant. Haste on Atlatl is tempting to haste our whole board. I think otherwise the haste enchant is useless. This may be a misplay, but I think hasting Atlatl I really like. The poison is amazing, don't get me wrong, but we have now a lot of burn coming in from the left, and we just have to be hasting the rest of our board. So Turbo Atlatl basically keeps the whole board perma-hasted. And I'd love to see
What
Caltrops.
can I get you?
I'll take that, but it's pretty irrelevant.
And I'll trot it to your door.
One time, baby! No. Not really after any econ items. I think I'm going to pay for the chocolate for health. Every bit of survivability we get can help. And you have Caltrops, so I think even though you might ruin my life, that's not ideal, but maybe we're still okay with Atlatl. I would have really liked to hold on to Dog Brother. We get there, so this is a chance to get Caltrops, which can save the run.
I've come too far to let you
Never
stop
lucky.
me.
Caltrops with Bonk, not the best synergy. This, unfortunately, just can't work with our build. Can certainly be fun, but just doesn't work with the build. I think we want to slow down, or speed up, sorry, our dog. Tools. Don't think there's any tools we really want. Actually, is the phonograph a tool? We definitely like the phonograph would go in instead of the Langjon. Let's have a look. Got enough money. Sure, take that upgrade even though it looks like our days may be numbered. These are minor buffs but better than nothing. Yeah, small items is fantastic with the money we have. Monster range can be amazing as well. I think with the amount of money, let's go here and let's buy out the shop. Got to do everything we can to give ourselves a win here. Try to get a bit further. Lots of buffs. Whole board should be hasted. Dog should be up to 1,000. Dooley! You still playing bugs, you cheeky little robot? Even with the bug fix, I think bugs are still going to be very strong. It is still playing bugs. This looks pretty nasty, but not much survivability. Oh, why'd you freeze the dog, brother? We're fine. So you can see the difference that the haste is making. Turbo Atlatl, very, very strong. Let's do everything we can to pick up Caltrops.
Sale, no sale. I want what's right for you.
These all buff damage slightly with how much money we have.
I think
Sure.
you're really gonna enjoy that. If it's not right for you, bring it back.
No Caltrops.
I used to offer a free ride home.
Or Lions Cane.
People thought it was weird.
Crook upgrade would be nice as well, but is nowhere near as essential. This is a cool event, but it doesn't really help us too much here. Doubling income is a significant damage buff, actually. I wasn't taking that into account. That's actually quite good. No Caltrops boy here. Pendulum would be a fantastic pickup as well, actually. Pendulum would also allow us to go into the late game. We'd put it next to Dog and Atlatl. It'd be pretty devastating. One time? No. Never lucky. So the upgrade is between Crook and Belt. I think we have to go Crook here. Getting the extra damage on Atlatl is just so nice. It's no longer reducing its cooldown, but it's suddenly such a devastating weapon. You can sell Caltrops or Lion's Cane.
Do you have any on behalf of the Grand Society of blah blah blah? Bye!
This ointment is now incredibly strong. Cleanse half your burn and poison. Not many items in the game do that. In fact, I think it's an underused mechanic, the giving you some counter to damage over time. So we'll definitely see that being worked into pig builds. Let's take you and look for small items, I suppose.
Fill their tunes, heal the wounds.
Too late for any of that.
Might leave a scar, but nothing a tattoo won't cover.
Alright. I mean, we're decent. Didn't pick up the caltrops we wanted. And I'm going to sell out Piggy Bank just to give myself every possible enchant. I thought it had 2. I was sure that had 2 value. Where did my second coin go, brother? Anyway, maybe I'm misremembering. Pretty strong Vanessa. I feel like we're more aggressive than most aggressive Vanessas. So, and we get off the ground faster with our mosquito skill plus atlatl. How do we do against eels? Think we should be okay? Because that's a nice freeze to get, of course. But yeah, I think even if we don't get the freeze, we're fine. Because even though atlatl goes off very quick, it damages more than eels. And eels take a while to charge. So I think we were completely fine there. The card table plus electric eels is a really cool combo. I'll have to try that. Giving your eels multicast. Super cool. Still lots of money. Let's still buy out small items for scaling, especially small weapons. This is why Pig just takes so much longer.
You want to buy that? I mean...
Look at how the Langjon's really getting up there, even though we got it a little bit late and at bronze for a very, very long time. Has to be Gumballs, I'm afraid, for dog scaling and just general scaling and synergy with Loop. Caltrops boy? You're not Caltrops boy. Nice range of Gumballs. Feel like we're in a decent place. The problem is, as I always say, you just run up against one busted property scaling pig and it's game over once you're on lethal. But as long as we don't, we're pretty fine, I think. Should be pretty fine. We don't get blown out by freeze builds unless it's a true whole board perma freeze build, and not much can beat that. Let's have a look at more weapon skills.
If you are too weak for Ryokon, the Sphinxians
Can do better than that. 16 damage buff to atlatl and pig is not bad, but this is a significant buff of damage across the board.
do not train with me.
So we're getting pretty nasty here. Really, really need caltrops to the point where I'll take you over chocolate scaling. Ice Club is the meta build, but we're pretty committed to... How do things look if we get rid of you? I mean, it's all still pretty strong. Wonder if you ever make a case for not running Crook here. It's surely crazy. Yeah, I think you have to run Crook. At the end of the day, it's an aggro build, and even just in the damage to atlatl, it's giving us a lot of value there. Plus, it's how we get the most value from caltrops if we ever find it. Our skill pool is pretty awful, so I think we try for caltrops here.
But I can help you finish. Enjoy the thrill of battle.
And failing that, get some scaling.
Hey, when you carry my
Buying
weapon,
selling becomes very
I fight
expensive at this
alongside
point,
you.
but we've got good econ items. Ah, had a good feeling there.
Use it well. Make me proud.
Don't think you're worth it, even though I assume you give diamond spare change. Actually, maybe you are worth it, because we get the weapons buff and 2 pig buffs.
I prefer
Duel.
action.
So remember when I said we were pretty good against anything that wasn't one tap pig? Let's test that. We don't have caltrops, which is the bug counter. I feel like we're pretty aggressive though. You're pretty aggressive, brother. You froze my most important item? Unhand me. Now we get the haste going. Now we get the engine going. Now the pig hits. We get to 7. Square pig's still really strong. Run might even be under an hour long. That rhymed. Another day to find caltrops, as we await our inevitable demise at the hands of overscaled
If you have to ask the
one-tap pig.
I think that suits you beautifully.
Even though we're scaling, it's just never going to be as strong as a value scaling pig. Gold tier loot. Remember when I said earlier how the Lang Zhong wasn't going to stick around for very long? Here we are. Tempting to take a gamble on the other options, but... none of these have caltrops.
I came here to trade, not conquer.
Dog also got this good despite never getting to diamond. He now hits very hard. The other item actually we should be looking for is phonograph. Phonograph would be going in over Lang Zhong to speed up our dog for sure. I think the belt upgrade is the obvious choice here. Other things don't benefit too much, and increased survivability is great. Also helps our lion cane if we ever find it.
Any good fights lately? Oh, I do miss it. Go make some more stories.
Caltrops one time, maybe just one time? No, never lucky.
Enjoy the thrill of battle. Well, you can.
Could keep Pitchfork for truffle generation, but can't be bothered. So another day where we didn't find the stuff we were really looking for, unless...
Take your time.
We finally find them. I was going to say it's criminal to not take the wheel when it's offered. Everyone knows when you can spin the wheel, you spin the wheel. But I had to try for caltrops there. And we picked them up, which is fantastic. So now I feel like we're in a really good way against most builds, other than, I don't know why I bought you. Most builds, I got overexcited. We're in a great place against most builds other than, oh, there's the phonograph as well. Oh yeah, it's so good for dog, but I think we can't get rid of Atlatl, we can't get rid of caltrops, we need one heavy hitter, I think. And yeah, if we're not playing dog, there's no point playing phonograph. Crook has to stay now that we've got caltrops, and I think belt is our only survivability, so I actually don't think we get it. I prefer to have the caltrops. There's undoubtedly some nonsense Mac builds that can beat us. Mac can get ridiculous late, especially I'm sure some of the femurs, Magnus femur, whatever, the bone build, can give us a hard time. And some infinite regen / poison builds I'm sure can give us a hard time as well. You hate to see Alacrity, and you hate to see 200 regen off the bat. So this is going to be a big test here. Caltrops is pretty devastating though. 1,000 regen? Get out of here, brother! Get out of here with that nonsense! We take the 7 wins. That's a shame. We picked up caltrops just at the last second, but that amount of regen is just too strong. Anyway, fun run with Square Pig. Borderline whether I upload this one. I think I probably still will. It's been fun. First run